Another jersey being retired by the Cleveland Cavaliers. The argument for Tristan Thompson being added to the group up in the rafters is absolutely ridiculous. I saw this little bit of a debate on Twitter the other day. We're going to jump into it here on Cavs Digest. Billy Beebe back with you, welcoming you back as the Cavs are waiting on Game 1 against the Indiana Pacers on Sunday. Tough wait, but good to get them some rest, figuring out the Darius Garland situation, talking Pacers, figuring out that matchup. We've got it all for you on Cavs Digest. I did a little bit of a breakdown. Matt did a little bit of a breakdown. We appreciate you joining the channel. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to comment. If you're not already doing those things, what are you waiting for? You're going to get the videos right there on your page. You're going to see what other people are talking about. You might get a comment from us, from other people. Doesn't matter. Today's a big debate show. I did this on Kevin Love, I think about a month ago. Loved the comments, appreciated the comments. We're going to get the same thing going today. So today's a great video. If you haven't commented before, if you haven't argued with myself or people down in the chat, today's your day, man. It's your time to shine. Jump in, get down there, and give your thoughts on our debate today. So, a little bit of a swerve from the playoff stuff with the Cavaliers. We have videos breaking everything down and whatnot in the channel. So, I talked about the Pandora's box behind the Cavaliers' jersey retirements, okay? And this happened after Kevin Love returned, and it was said that the Cavaliers would retire Kevin Love's jersey. And if you go back, you can watch that video. I made my argument why I just think it's a bad idea. It's not that I can't see the arguments for these jerseys being retired, because really I can. Okay, I understand why fans want it, why these guys deserve it, why the organization would want it, so on and so forth, right? I get it. You don't have to explain to me the argument. I'm not lost. I wasn't lost on the Kevin Love argument. I'm not lost on the Tristan Thompson argument. However, I said that when they said they would retire his jersey, I said the Pandora's box is being opened for that championship team to have their jerseys retirement. Ladies and gentlemen, argue again with me. I don't think Kyrie Irving should have his jersey retired by the Cavaliers. Okay? I think you got a muddy history there, and hitting the game-winning shot probably gets his jersey retired, but again, let's stick with Kevin Love. I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind about the Kyrie thing as time kind of goes on, but that him leaving was just terrible. Let's stay with Kevin Love here, okay? I argued he was good. He was probably the third best player on the Cavaliers, but he was a role player in that championship. And when you open the box for a role player who meant a lot to the organization, I know he re-signed. A lot of guys re-signed. Amon Shumpert re-signed with the Cavaliers, right? You open Pandora's box. And some of you didn't believe me. Some of you thought I was overreacting. Some of you thought it didn't matter. Well, here we are about a month later. Kevin Love gives and again, it was a great situation. And again, I like Hayden Grove a lot. He's a Cleveland enthusiast and go for the organization guy. So, this isn't a dig at Hayden Grove, but he brings this up, and you can go down into the comments. There's comments galore about, Tristan Thompson, and this was the moment, right, when he hugged Kevin Love upon returning to the court after his dad had passed, we figured out. And it sparked Hayden Grove to say, I want Tristan Thompson's number retired. I'll die on that hill. I think it should be retired, so on and so forth. So, first thing I want to do here's the career stats for Tristan Thompson, okay? These are his prime. This is what I felt was his prime, or where he was really benefiting. You can see that by his minutes, as a rookie going to 24, and then by the time he's done, back down to 24. Save you a little time if you don't want to read through all that. 8-8, essentially, maybe 10-8 in his prime. Not great at the free throw line. Can't shoot jumpers, can't shoot threes. So really, you're just getting a 10-8 every single night. Hustle rebounds, hustle defense. Again, you don't have to explain to me the Tristan Thompson story. Homegrown talent, took a role in himself. He's talked about that he was developing his shot, then decided to just be a player and help and do things and whatnot. This is a great example of, now that you've opened that Kevin Love box, you are now jumping into more role players on the Cavaliers. 10-8, folks. 10-8, and you're going to put his jersey in the rafters. 0 individual accolades. No All-Star appearances. Just has that ring. And believe me, that ring is very shiny and means a lot to Cleveland. There is nothing wrong with enjoying, encouraging, and welcoming players back to your organization, which they've already been doing. He's essentially a cheerleader at this point in his career. But you have to understand, at a certain point, you can't just be chucking jerseys up in the rafters. Now, another thing Hayden Grove talked about, he set the standard. He has surpassed the standard. I argued against that because Nate Thurman's jersey is retired by the Cavaliers. Who's Nate Thurman? Nate Thurman hit the Miracle at Richfield shot. Well, he had to have done more than that. One season, I believe 2 points per game, hit the Miracle at Richfield, and they retired his jersey number. That's where we're at on the standard of jersey retirements for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Other players, other arguments to be made. I love Z. Z made an all-star team at least, number one. And number two, I don't want to put it like this because I love Z, but that was a pity retirement. The Cavaliers were terrible. LeBron had left. It looked like they were never going to get that title. So then you start retiring jerseys that are, meaningful to the organization, right? Matt Stafford is a great example where it's just Matt Stafford never won anything for the Lions. He's going to get his jersey retired. He meant that much to that organization. So that led me to believe it and think of other players. You got these three guys. They didn't win anything. All three retired. So you have a sketchy standard. That's why guys like Tristan Thompson have a shot, might sneak in here. But it also kind of sets the tone like, hey, you just have to mean a lot to Cleveland to get your jersey retired. And Tristan's got the ring on top of it. So that's why, again, I identify the argument. Larry Nance, is fondly beloved because those 90s teams were so beloved. But, they were second-round knockouts constantly. And they broke up rather quickly. The other one, Anderson Varejao has similar numbers to Tristan Thompson. Just doesn't have the ring. That's it. He has almost the exact same numbers. He's high sevens in rebounding and scoring. And actually did more years in Cleveland. So if we're talking about dedication to the city or dedication to the team, Anderson Varejao was there longer. And if we're doing chose to stay with Cleveland as like a plus, then I would say, okay, chose to leave, Cleveland's a minus. So those cancel out. Thompson left for Boston, of all places, right? So that's where we're at. I think this is a Pandora's box. It's a real problem. I talked about it. You retire Tristan Thompson, then you're looking at J.R. Smith, then you're looking at Matthew Dellavedova, Richard Jefferson, and at what point are you retiring James Jones' jersey because LeBron really liked him? Drop down in the comments. Am I way off base on this? Would it not be a big deal to retire Tristan Thompson's numbers? How many players from the championship team would you be willing to retire? Channing Frye, Richard Jefferson, J.R. Smith, Delly, so on and so forth? Am I off on this? Let me know. Drop down into the comments and be sure to subscribe to Cavs Digest.